Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Build Your Copywriting Business podcast. Hey there, Kate.
Hello, hello.
Hello. So today we have a special little bonus episode for you. And we decided to do this as an episode because we've been getting a lot of questions. If you have been with us for a while or exploring copywriting for a while, or maybe you're even a member of the Comprehensive Copywriting Academy, thank you. It's good to have you. But this episode might be even a little bit more for you if you are the kind of person who, not the kind of person, but if you have just found us or just started exploring copywriting, kind of dipped your toes in just a little bit. We're going to explore the idea or the question that we get often, which is copywriting right for me? So first of all, of course, we don't know you personally, so we can't say, yes, absolutely, not yet. So we can't absolutely say, yes, 100%. But I also don't know that you can ever say, yes, 100% about anyone or anything, and even for ourselves. The is copywriting right for me is really, you're essentially asking, is copywriting the perfect career for me? Is copywriting the one thing I should do moving forward? And I think we're all setting ourselves up for disappointment if we're looking for perfection, the one right step. And don't get me wrong, I have been writing copy for almost 20 years now, and I love it. I will continue to do it for another 20 and a 20 after that. Maybe by then I'll look to retiring. But
Who knows? Your lifespan might be real long.
It's true. Maybe I'll be frozen. But it's a great career, but it's never going to be a perfect career. No career is going to be a perfect career. And in just a second, we'll talk about some of the traits that our students have in common, and that might help a little bit. But I want to kind of turn this question around a bit, because it's not a matter of if I take this path, this has to be the perfect career for me. Because it doesn't have to be, is the thing. Instead of asking whether or not it's the perfect career, what I would suggest is you ask yourselves whether you are willing to be committed to getting something out of this course. Because if you go through the course, if you join our student Facebook group, if you practice, if you do the work, if you're committed to doing the work, and as we'll talk about in a little bit, we're not talking about like hours and hours and hours of strenuous work, but committed to taking action steps, there's no reason that you can't learn to write copy. And that, quite frankly, and while we don't make any guarantees, but it's perfectly reasonable for you to pay off the cost of the course in 1 or 2 client projects. We have plenty of people who pay it off in 1. Mm-hmm. And then at that point, then you've had some experience. You know whether copywriting is something, maybe you want to do it full-time, maybe you want to do it part-time, maybe it's just skills that you want to take into your next career, skills that will make you more marketable for your next position, whatever that may be. And essentially, you're at net zero because you've paid for the course. But it's not a matter of whether or not copywriting is right for you or it's the perfect career for you. It's a question of whether or not you are committed to using and making the most of this course.
Yeah. If you're not, you learn a skill no matter what, whether you decide to use that skill, to Nikki's point, full-time, part-time, side gig, whatever it may be, you still have that skill. So even if you decide, I'm going to stay in my full-time job, or I'm going to go this other path, maybe a couple months down the line, you say, oh, actually, I want to start pitching some clients again and use my copywriting skills that I have. And you always have them to fall back on. We just had a student who she had pursued a teaching career, actually, and put her side business of copywriting off to the side. Things happened in 2020. She got laid off from the teaching job, and now she's back to copywriting and thinks she wants to do it full time. So I think we get in this frame of mind that it has to be all or nothing, or the end all be all. And it's actually such a flexible skill to have in your back pocket or in your front pocket, as it were, if that's
Yeah, absolutely. It's another skill that we add to our toolbox. And again, you could do it full-time, do it part-time, or pick it up when you need it. We actually have a lot of teachers in our programs, and a lot of teachers do it part-time. And then in the summer, when they have a little bit more time, they dial it up a little bit more, which you can absolutely do.
And plenty of teachers that have left teaching too. So it's
exactly
teachers going in all different directions.
Exactly. But yeah, it's nothing's written in stone, and part of what makes copywriting so great is that you can decide what you want your career to look like and how you want to do it and what you want your schedule to be and all of that kind of thing and how you want to incorporate it into your career, whether you want it to be your career, whether you want it to supplement your career, all kinds of different things. But yeah, so a few commonalities among our students. This might help a little bit. Number one, yes, you need to have a natural affinity for writing, right? Mm-hmm. You need to fundamentally like writing. If you hate words, if you hate writing, you're going to hate copywriting. That's just, it's not going to work for you. You need to be the kind of person who people will say, oh, you're a good writer. They have you look at their resumes or their cover letters or, hey, can you read this email before I send it to my boss to make sure I don't sound, XYZ. That's generally a good indicator that you're good at writing. And don't take that for granted either. I think a lot of us assume that because we can do it well and we've always naturally been able to do it well, or as long as we can remember, that everyone can and everyone cannot. If you're a good writer, it is a very special skill.
Yeah. And to that point, you don't have to, liking words is one thing. It's not being an academic writer, right? We're not being very formal. Start to notice the copy that, whether it's mail that comes to your mailbox or a billboard or an emails that you get in your inbox and how they're written. And if you're starting to notice like, I think I could rewrite this, or why did they do it this way? If you start to notice that type of thing, then that's copywriting. It's not writing an essay. It's not necessarily it's not blog writing. That's content writing. And so start to notice the things that do have words and how you would do it instead. And chances are, if you think you could do it better, you very well may do it better. But I think that's shocking. I think that people, it's someone wrote this and got paid for it, so it's got to be good. And so what I'm thinking is good. And no, that the truth is that there's so much opportunity for copywriters and so much opportunity for good trained copywriters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so much more need than there are good skilled copywriters to do it. But to that point, you also need to be someone who is willing to be coached and willing to learn. If you're the kind of person who comes into something and your immediate thought is, I know everything already, I know all of this already, then it's not going, well, many things won't work out for you. But the copywriting isn't going to work for you because it is so different from any other kind of writing. It requires it's a full career, which requires a full training. You need to learn the principles, you need to practice the principles, you need to refine the principles. And that's just the learning of copywriting. That's not even, building your portfolio and building pieces for your portfolio and learning to reach out to clients and learning to handle clients in your schedule, and all of which we teach. But you have to be open to learning and open to getting feedback and incorporating that feedback from us, from our community, but also from your clients. Because when you're working with clients, your clients are going to have feedback on your work. And copywriting is it's a very collaborative process, which is your client feedback helps you refine the work and make it even better. So you have to be open to that.
Yeah, and I think reframing feedback for all of us is a step. It's so easy to get defensive or to think, oh, that means my copy's bad because my client had feedback, or because someone suggested I rework something. But reframing that as, this is us working together to make it better and to bring it to the best possible place is crucial. And it'll make you just a stronger writer and individual to be able to be receptive and open to feedback, and knowing that you don't have to do everything by yourself. Yes, you write the copy and you know, come to the client and put your best foot forward, but it doesn't mean you have to knock something out of the park the first time every time. It is very, very collaborative process.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And then really, I think the third piece is the biggest piece, or one of the biggest pieces, or one of the biggest commonalities, maybe that's a better way to say it, is the willingness to take action. And that can be hard, you know, it can be hard to get outside of your comfort zone and do the work that needs to be done. You know, it can be fun to sign up for things but if you don't practice writing copy, if you don't build your portfolio, if you don't start reaching out to clients, and you know, we give you all of the steps, we've broken it down and we've approached it from so many different ways, so many different resources, and we keep adding more into the course, but we lots of support and lots of feedback. We've got our coaching calls, we've got Facebook lives, we've got every day, we've got coaches in the Facebook group, and your fellow students as well. But if you are not willing to take the action, nothing will come of it, right? And we have very deliberately, and we keep trying to find new ways to do it, we very deliberately set up the course to encourage you to take action and to give you opportunities to do so. And to, when you get a little bit off course, or when you feel that resistance kicking up, or the self-doubt, which will, it's part of the process. You should feel self-doubt at a certain point. It's a natural part of the process, because the motivation is going to wane, and your internal resistance that wants to keep you in your comfort zone is going to kick up, and you're going to feel self-doubt, or you're going to start comparing yourself to other people who are in other places in their career journey, or you're going to find yourself procrastinating, which is another form of resistance. And we put together a whole course just to help you get through that. But you still have to be willing to say, okay, this is today. Yesterday, super easy. I just sat down and got to work. Today it feels kind of hard. Today I kind of don't feel like doing it. But you have to be willing to do it anyway. And make that commitment to yourself, make that commitment to your career, make that commitment to your future, that even when it feels, you don't feel like doing it, or even when some days it feels a little scary, or maybe you're doubting yourself or something like that, you know, first of all, pop in the Facebook group. I mean, how many times have we seen people pop in and say, oh, you know, I'm doubting myself a little bit today. And then we get dozens of fellow students saying, oh my gosh, I was there yesterday. You'll get through it. You know, everybody goes through this. You'll be fine. Keep taking action. But if you're willing to move through it, then you can be successful. If you're going to let fear, let resistance, let procrastination, I don't feel as excited about it anymore. If you're going to let that get in the way, then this is not for you. Absolutely. But if you're willing to challenge yourself and to say, even if in the past you have let things get in your way, if you're willing to say, okay, no, you know what? This is important to me. I'm committed to doing this and follow through with this. We will give you everything we've got to help you stick with it. But you have to make that commitment to yourself as well.
Yeah. One of the big things that I would say everyone in the group shares, but it's also different, is what we call the big why, their reason for doing it. And so that, no matter what you're doing, figure out if you're pursuing copywriting, why is that? Is it to have more time in your day, more freedom to set your schedule the way you want it? Is it to spend more time with your kids? Is it to take a trip that you've always wanted to take? Is it to quit your job? Is it to supplement your job? There's so many reasons, and, you know, dig into why you want to pursue this. And everyone in the group has a different reason. And remembering that when they are in different places from you, there's a reason for that. They're pursuing it for a very different reason than you might be. And so that's though what can remind you and focus you on those days when your energy is maybe waning, or you're questioning is you might question it for a while. Is this right for me? Is this right for me? It's going to take some time. Yeah. It's going to take some time to learn, as it always does. It's going to take some time to figure out if it is the right thing for you, like anything in life. It's, whether it's our partners or a hobby even, is it the right thing for me? You have to kind of dig into it a little bit to find that answer. And so your reason for doing it though is what can keep you going, why you're doing something.
Yeah, exactly. So if you are examining this question of, I don't know, should I sign up? Should I not sign up? Is copywriting right for me? Again, we completely understand the question, but what we'd suggest is maybe asking different questions instead. Asking, am I willing to put in the effort to learn something new? Asking yourself, what could I get out of this? Asking yourself, is this something that will help me grow as a person? Asking yourself, okay, why am I interested in this to begin with? What is it in this opportunity that is calling to me? Because and thinking along those lines, I think instead of a yes or no question, but exploring what it is that interests you about this opportunity and what you could get out of this opportunity and where it could take you, I think is going to be much more beneficial for anyone. Here's the thing. If you're listening to this conversation, it's very, very likely that you are already someone who is very likely that you're already someone who's good at writing. Otherwise, why would you be listening to us talk about copywriting, right? You're also someone who is interested in growing, in bettering themselves, in doing something new, in opening up new opportunities for themselves, which quite frankly, no matter what you end up doing, good for you, because there are a lot of people out there who never explore anything besides like this one little path. They hate their jobs, but they're willing to spend 40 hours a week for 40 or 50 years being miserable. So good for you for exploring anything. But if you have, you've stuck with us on this call, so you are, what's the word I'm looking for? This may be a good opportunity for you. That's the best that we can tell you because we don't know you personally. So the best thing to do is to ask yourself, instead of focusing on this yes or no binary, is it the perfect career for me or not? Is it right for me or not? Ask yourself what you could get out of it, how you could grow, what directions it could take your not just your career, but your life. A lot of our students can tell you that it's about so much more than just a career opportunity. And start asking yourself your bigger questions. And Kate, like Kate was saying, that big why. Why do you want this to begin with? Those are the questions we would recommend asking yourselves. So there you have it. Again, maybe this is one of those episodes where you're like, oh, I'm going to get a good yes or no answer to my question. Unfortunately, no, because we can't answer that for you, but you can answer some of these bigger questions, though we would, of course, recommend staying away from these binary yes or no questions. So take some time with this. If you need to, go back to the beginning, listen to it again, and maybe take time and jot down your answers and really think it through that way. But no matter what, we are glad you stuck with us for this little conversation, and we will catch you on the next episode. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you don't miss any tips, tools, or tactics for copywriters by clicking subscribe right now. And of course, you can always find us over at filthyricwriter.com. We'll see you next time.